Good evening, everyone. How are you doing this evening? It's a beautiful Monday. Yeah, it's a beautiful Monday evening. I was live earlier on, and here I am again live this evening for a little chit chat. So get in here if you are a parent of a toddler or parent of a preschooler. Yes, you have children between ages 0 and 6. Then get in here. If you know someone who is a parent of a 0 to 6 year old, get them to come in here right now. If you're catching the replay and you know someone who is a parent of a child who is 0 to 6 year old, then tag them so that they can watch this video. Let's have a little chit chat. Use the comment section while we're having this session. Ask me your questions because I'm here to answer your questions if you have them. But this is going to be a short session. All right, this is going to be a short session, one of the sessions that I have in the evening. As I said, when the children are all settled, about to go to bed and all of that, and I'm free, yay! So I can do a 20-30 minute session with my people. So are you a parent of a toddler? Are you a parent of a preschooler? Do you have a child who is between 0 and 6 years old? Then pay attention to me. All right, there is this quote from Fred Roger that says, play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. Yes, play is really the work of childhood. So, it is safe to say that if your child is not playing, if your 0 to 6 year old children are not playing, then they are not learning effectively because play is the language of learning for a child. Play is the business of your child. Your child's work is to play. Play is essential in the life of your toddler, in the life of your preschooler. Your children need to play. Now, what we have a lot of times is that our children go to school in the morning. So let's run through a typical day for a 4 year old, 6 year old, for even a regular 3 year old, right? Now, a typical day is that the child wakes up in the morning and the child is given a bath. The child is given a bath by a parent who is also probably rushing to go to work, right? My parents is also rushing to go to work, or in some cases, the child is actually given a bath by a nanny or someone, who works with the family or for the family, why the child or why the parent is getting ready for work, or the parent is making food or something like that. So basically, the child wakes up in the morning and the child gets ready to go to bed, go to school and all of that. There isn't any form of play that is really happening there, right? You get the child all set for school, and at say, depending on where you live, your location, the distance from school, and or whatnot. The child is off to school at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30, thereabouts. Now, your child goes to school. Now, depending on the kind of school that the child goes to, we know now, especially in this side of the world, we know how we have some schools that are over ambitious, schools that are just too serious, schools where you have teachers will send you message, a parent of a 3 year old, they will send you message and tell you how your child is lazy and your child doesn't want to work and your child doesn't want to do anything. So your child ends up, let's say child A ends up in that school where children are supposed to learn to write 1 to 20 and 30 and 50, and the child is struggling. So you realize that your 3 year old, your 4 year old is sitting down there struggling to write for minutes or hours on ending, right? So this is it. The child is made to sit. The child is made to sit and pay attention to one adult that is trying to instruct them, right? And the child is not moving. The child is not playing. The child is supposed to be serious. The child is in school. And then at 10 o'clock or thereabouts, the child is now allowed to take a relief, right? The child is now relieved and allowed to play for a few minutes. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be the other way around. The child is supposed to spend most of their time playing and then take a break to rest or take a break to do an activity or something that will probably help them, strengthen their fine motor skills or some other kind of skills that they need to sit in a place. Or your child is supposed to take the breaks to probably do something like a listening activity or an activity that engages them for a couple of minutes, just because you want to help them practice their muscles when it comes to staying focused and being on task. So these things that are supposed to be the breakout sessions, or these things that are supposed to be a bit of relief, right, for the children, when the children take a break from work, which is play, now ends up being what your children or what our children do most of the time. And they only take a break, say at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, to grab a snack or something like that. And they are back to serious learning. They are learning math. They're learning, arithmetic, literacy, numeracy. And yes, all of these are the things that your children are meant to be learning. But how? It's the how that is the concern here. I remember back then at school, our kids have been very, very lucky, right? Our kids have been really very lucky, or at least we have been very intentional about that one. So they've been lucky to have us, the advantage of having us as their parents, so that when it comes to picking schools, especially at that stage of their lives, we always picked the school where our children were given experiences, the school where their experiences, and play was prioritized, creating memories, building, experiences for the children, creating memories for the children. If there is one thing that my kids' school knows how to do, is how to, engage children in play and create experiences for them. So that one, I'm really grateful. I'm so grateful that I got it right there. But hey, we're still talking about that school A. That school A where the children go in and the children are meant to do a lot of practice activity. They are writing and writing and writing. They are doing serious things all the time. And then it is now break time and the children are given, let's say, an hour. An hour in a day is what you give a toddler. In some schools, they don't even have the hour. In some schools, they don't even have the space for this to happen. So what happens is the child now goes out and the child has just about 40 minutes, perhaps 1 hour. Out of what? They get to school at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Some of them are in school for 4 and for 6 hours, 7 hours. The way it is these days is even worse than the 6, 7 hours. Some of our children, yes, our 3-year-olds, our 4-year-olds are in school till about 3 or 4 p.m., depending on the dynamics of the parents and the location where they live. So your child is out there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4, and all the child gets to do, the only work the child gets to do is work for 1 hour or work for an hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours out of 6, 7, 8 hours. When the child's work, the child's job is to play. So the real work that the child is supposed to do is play. And the child is supposed to have breakout sessions to, learn other skills that probably entails that the child stays in one place and all of that. But we flip it, and what do? We get the children to sit down and do serious stuff for 6, 7 hours, and they get to play for 21 hours. Now, the child is programmed to learn through exploration. The child is programmed to learn in a stimulating environment. And that stimulating environment is the environment that the child is allowed to interact with, right? So the child is supposed to interact with their environment. How do you interact with your environment? At this age, interaction, if it's not just at this age, for all of us, really. For humans, basically, our interaction with our environment, our interaction with anything, materials, people, and all of that. Our interaction is done through sensory means. So your child is supposed to interact with their environment. Your child gets stimulated by the interaction between the child and the child's environment. So the child's learning is sensorial. Most of the child's learning at this stage is sensorial. So the child is supposed to explore. The child is supposed to be allowed their curiosity to find expressions, right? And this is what your child is supposed to be doing. But then again, the child ends up in school A, where the child is cooped up in some small room with chairs and tables and all of that, very little space for the child to move around and all of that because of the school's dynamics. The school wants to put in as much, as much structured learning into that space, right, for the children, because, hey, this teacher has got 25, 30 children and all of that. In fact, I remember an experience when our children were younger, and I had one of my colleagues, from where I used to work, come in. She brought her colleague to come and enroll their child in the school where my son at the time used to go to. And that's because, she meets my son, at the time, and she's like, oh, he's doing so well, this one, that one. And so she talked about the school so well to her colleague, and her colleague decided to bring her son, to her child to the school, or her kids to the school. And the colleague comes into the school, and she's in the school for a couple months, and she started complaining. I mean, these are children who were in they were in early years, right? They were in early years, preschool, basically. And the colleague would complain every day how all they do in that school is play. Like, I am tired of the activities. Today it's fruit day. Tomorrow is play doh. Another day is messy play date. Another day is one color. And then the parent was just tired as far as she was concerned. At what point are they going to start writing, 1 to 100? At what point are they going to practice this, practice that, and all of that? And she kept on comparing her children with the children of her cousin who are in other schools, and like, oh, my cousin's child that is 4-year-old, he can write 1 to 100 and 1 to, we do all of those things, and these things are serious mistakes that we make. Yes, serious mistakes. I remember when I got into education, I got into classroom. Okay, when I got into the education sector, I came in as an administrative person. I was a school manager for a bit. Okay, and then I decided I wanted to have the full classroom experience. I wanted to teach. I wanted to work with the children directly in the class. So I remember when I moved into the classroom, and I had to move from where I worked as a school manager to a new school where I had to work as a teaching assistant. Yes, I moved that way from management. Oh God, from middle management to being a teaching assistant, like a teaching assistant in the classroom. All right. So when that happened, I remember how back then I used to have this head of school, that was American. I remember how she would come in and she would go into the classroom, and she would be livid when she sees the teacher in the classroom. Not my class, early years back then. I was in a year 1 class, I think, at the time. I'd been in the school for a bit at this time. All right. How she would go into the early years class, and she would see the Nigerian teachers, right, trying to force the children to write, because somewhere at the back of our minds, these Oyibo people, their own is too much. These Oyibo people, their wahala is too much. These Oyibo people, they don't want the children to learn. These Oyibo children, they want to spoil children. And you will see how, against the school policy, against the school rules, teachers are bringing in other books, that allow the children to write, because somehow I'm the homeroom teacher, and so I can tweak things in my room, basically, because I feel the 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds should be doing certain activities, because that's what we do in this part of the world. All right. So at that time, it used to look like those teachers who were doing this were like really, really, okay, they really wanted the children to learn more. They really wanted this. But as I grew older, As I gained more knowledge, right, in the education sector, and I came to understand more, I just realized that it's just that our overzealous thing that we do around here. I shade you. We just know too much when we have not allowed ourselves to stay in and try to understand the why behind, a lot of the things that we do. Truth about it is, when you walk through most of the, as in the most successful educational approaches, you will see that the emphasis, especially for children of this age, the emphasis is really on the children playing. The emphasis is on the children interacting with nature. The emphasis is on children exploring and discovering and making sense of the world on their own. And basically, this is how children learn to problem solve. This is how they learn to answer the questions in their environment. When they answer the questions that nature poses, or they answer the questions to the things that they don't understand, what they learn to do is they learn to proffer solutions. Okay, they learn to proffer solutions. In proffering solutions, the children learn how to initiate tasks. The children learn how to take initiative. They learn how to self-direct. They learn how to ask questions. They learn how to solve their own problems. They learn how to make inferences, right? They learn how to use previous experiences and apply their previous experiences into new experiences. For instance, the child probably has seen a frog before, and he has probably held a frog before and knows that, okay, the frog has this amount, this number of limbs and all of that. Now, when the child sees probably a toad or something else that looks like a frog, the child is able to look at it closely and is able to infer, okay, if this happened with that one that I met the other, I played with the other time, perhaps this will happen with this one too. Or, okay, if this is what I saw in the other one, then I'm seeing this with this new creature in my hand. It's possible that the two of them are the same creature, or it's possible. Children begin to problem solve and stimulate their brains this way while they're trying to look for solutions for the problems in their environment, solutions for the problems that they encounter. So this way, the child leads his own inquiry. The child is the one leading his own inquiry. The child is the one looking for solutions for his inquiry. The child is the one trying to solve his own problem. But what we do is, we don't like this. We don't like to think that children are autonomous. We don't like to give children that autonomy, because we come from a system where it is believed that it is the older you are, the wiser you are. Right? That's what is generally believed. So that's why we have this elder system, which is not a bad one at all. So we have this elder system where it is seen that provided someone is older, then you're supposed to go with whatever the person says without asking questions. So we take this into everything that we do. We take it even into our education system, where it is believed that a person that is older, by virtue of them spending more time on earth, it means that they know better, they are wiser, they are more responsible, and they are more knowledgeable. But you and I know that this is not true, isn't it? We all know that this is not true. We can actually see someone who is younger and the person, So that is why, we should allow our children explore and try to find their solution. So our role as teachers, right? Our role as teachers or as the adults in their lives is actually the role to be present for our children, to come to us rather, when they need help. All right, we should be there to prompt them. We should be there to prompt them to think. The child is struggling with trying to figure out something. You want to be there to say, okay, how about, could you try flipping that thing and see what result you will get if you flip it? So you are there to guide the child. You are there to give the child suggestions, prompts, and all of that, that will help the child solve his own problem by himself. Basically, this is what we should be doing for our children. Now, this is the school system. And remember, the child is even in the school for a period of time. And from what I'm saying, it's already seen that the school has a lot on its hand, basically. Your child is in a classroom with 15, 20, probably 25 other children, 24 other children. There are 2 teachers, maximum 3 teachers in that class. And basically, these people have to, attend to every child, right? And we already talked about how the work of a child is to play. Children are supposed to play for maximum amount of time. Children learn through playing. Okay, don't look at play. Okay, just as Fred Rogers has said, don't look at play as what the children take a break to do. Right? No, play is not what the children take a break to do from serious things. Play is what the child does. That is the child's work. That's what the child does. The child takes a break from play to do other things. It's the other way around, okay? Basically. Now, if the school is not maximizing this because of the dynamic in the school, if the school is not able to help the child achieve that maximum time for the child to explore their curiosity, for the child to figure out the things in their environment, for the child to understand their environment through inquiry and through problem solving. If the school is not providing that environment as it is, the school cannot provide that environment, absolutely. Or the school cannot provide that environment as much as you can provide that environment in your home. That is why we want to equip parents, because we have realized that most of the mistakes that we made with with our Gen Z, all right, most of the mistakes that definitely was made with us, right? In fact, our case was even better. I say it to parents a lot of the times. I say, let me tell you, we were even better. We were luckier than the Gen Zs, right? If you are generation Y and the X, if you are a millennial and and the generation before then you will know that we were, even as far as play goes and as far as exploring and discovering our environments on our own goes, we were better off than our children, because we had time to be outside. We were outside. So we had time to be outside. We had time to discover things on our own. All the playing with Mangolo, all the 10 outside, all the figuring out what to do with sticks, all of those things. Do you know the amount of learning that got in there? Do you know that a lot of us can thrive today? A lot of us can thrive today, or a lot of us can navigate today, and we can survive the harshness and everything around us today because of the muscles that we developed, because of the, when I say muscle, I don't mean strength, that muscle, because of the muscle that we developed in different areas, our ability to solve problems while we were outdoor with our friends, our ability to build social connections while we were outdoor playing without adults resolving our problems. Adults didn't have to come out and solve our problems for us. We got into issues with our friends, we quarreled, we fought, we did malice for a bit, we settled our issues on our own. All the emotional intelligent muscles that we developed while we were out there playing, all the mentorship and peer mentorship and sibling mentorship on the playground where we had to play with older kids. I remember back in the day, I was out playing with my brothers that were 5 years, 6 years older than with the neighbors. I can still remember my neighbors, right? I can still remember their names and all of that. I played with the neighbors, from high direct. It's up to you. I'll call you tomorrow, all right? So we were out there playing with the neighbors. You played with boys, interact with boys and girls, right? You played with the neighbors who were 5 years older, 4 years older, 3 years older. You played with younger kids. You played with older kids. All of the mentorship that got in there while we were playing outside, doing pangolo, rolling tires. So we are not even on the same page with these children. We are not. So as far as learning through play is concerned, our parents not even knowing what exactly they were doing, we achieved that. We learned through play. We learned through play. It's just that if they knew more, if they could how to create stimulation intentionally through those things, then I'm sure by now our story will be different. It's not the if they even had more emotional intelligence and control of, or proper regulation of their, then probably all of the learning that we had, would have been, we would have been able to achieve more with it. So all of these other areas where we attained or achieved success, okay, they wouldn't have made a mess of it. We're not right, basically, because I say to parents all the time, you can do all the amazing work with your children. If you do not get, if you do not have emotional regulation, it will come and make a mess of all of the good work that you've done with your children. So I want to believe very strongly that that's what, gave to us, to a huge extent and all of that. Because as far as, developing some of these other, had a good share of it that, was enough or could have been enough to help us navigate and to build on, basically. But because the adults in our lives didn't have knowledge, you know how scripture says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's what happened to us. So now in the case of our children, we have become knowledgeable. Some of us are knowledgeable. Some of us are refusing to get knowledge. Some of us are refusing to be wise on this matter. Don't worry, we're here. We will disturb you, hoping for the sake of your children that you will come around and understand that there is a need to intentionally learn parenting, go about parenting your children. There is a need for it. There is a way, and the way, first of all, is that you become knowledgeable. So if we are knowledgeable enough, then we will begin to understand these things and we'll begin to apply these things appropriately, right? So now, how do we get our children to play more? How do we get to create that environment in our home where we can maximize play at home in order to help our children build skills in every area of their life for them to be able to navigate life effectively? These skills, I don't know what adjective to use. Okay, fortunately, these skills, if we can get them, if we can lock them in today, if we can get them right today, these skills will help our children. Yes, they become the foundation upon which every other thing that our children will learn in the future is mounted. Yes, okay, if we get it right, it becomes easier for our children to learn, for whatever else they are learning to take roots, basically. So whatever foundation you are building today is a foundation upon which your child will navigate when they are 20, when they are 25, when they are 40, when they are 50, and when they are 60. Some of us, the struggles that we struggle today, the struggles that we have today, were struggles that were created when we were 2 years old, when we were 3 years old. I hope you know that, trauma, right? Adverse childhood trauma and all of that is not just about the things that was done, the things that people did to us or that our parents did to us. It's also about the things that could have been done to us, that our parents could have done, that our parents did not do. I hope you know that by now. So yes, there are a lot of trauma that we would have been, shielded from if only we knew, our parents knew better. And there are a lot of trauma that you can shield your child from. A lot of advantage that you can give your child today if only you know more or you commit yourself to knowing more. So are you a parent of a toddler? Are you a parent of a preschooler? Then you want to jump in and be a part of our course that we have, optimizing. We want to help you learn to optimize play as a strategy for learning in your home, in every area. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had a masterclass. If you'd like to catch a replay of that masterclass, I need you to put it in the comment section after this, put it in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook, put it right there. Just say replay. or just say masterclass, and I will share the link with you. It was such revealing, all right, an insightful session. In that session, we help play to get their toddlers, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old, how to understand and practice and exhibit emotional intelligence and empathy. In this, to be doing this for many other areas. It's a 6-module course. So we're going to be doing this in other areas, how to help them use this to develop social skills, how to help them use play to become excellent in their academics, how to help them use play to become excellent in every area. Okay, so you need to be in this course, because when you come in here, we are equipping you, and then you can take this with what we have equipped you that becomes how you are going to apply your support for your child. I promise you, the result will be transformational. I told someone the other day, none of my kids has ever, and I'm not even as in, none of my kids has ever done anything less than 90 in math. None of them. If you catch my children doing anything less than, I don't discuss my children's academic, whatever, but I am telling you for free. And this, right? So let me use math. Let me use something like science. Let me use like, major subjects, right? Let me use major subjects like that. They've never, no matter what it is, even at the times where they were ill, right, before exams or right in the middle of exams, they've never done less than 90. Even if I look at it closely, I would see that they probably have never even done, something higher than, never done probably even higher than 92, 93, thereabouts. It's always been high up there, because the concepts of math, the foundation for all of this learning, we invested in that foundation early enough. And all of this investment I'm talking about is play. All of this investment is play. It is helping our children make sense or get tangibility out of their learning. Basically, making their learning authentic. That's what it is. I told someone the other day, my daughter doesn't even know how to do definition. Like, you ask her, what is a noun? And she goes, a noun is the name of a person, and she doesn't know how to do that per se. If you ask her, she will go, okay, so when you have a boy and you have a house, and she explains things to you, because she can be logical. She has depth of understanding of whatever it is that she learns, because every time she learns, her learning is made authentic. It is made relatable. She's able to relate her learning to what she is doing. Okay, she's able to relate what she's doing in school to real life situations. So that learning is authentic, it's deep, basically, and all of it. She's never known a lesson teacher. She doesn't know what it means to have a lesson teacher, and she's 8 years old. Our son is 14 years old. He doesn't know lesson teachers, nothing. The closest he has come to is at a particular time for 1 week, when there's something that he's dealing with, that he's having trouble with. We get someone to scaffold him in that area for that 1 week. As soon as he gets it right, 1 week, 2 weeks, as soon as he gets it right, that's it. It's gone. Scaffold is gone, and then he begins to navigate, because we understand that there is a place of independent learning and building muscles as an independent learner. But then you can only enjoy or utilize all of this strategy when the foundation is right. And we want to offer you an opportunity to learn how to create that foundation that is right for your child. So if you've been following me and you would like to be a part of this course that is starting in 2 days, by the way, 3 days, it's starting on the 12th. What is today? 9th? It's starting on the 12th, by the way. If you would like to be a part of the course, right now you will see an information scrolling down on my page right now. on my screen rather. So you want to take a screenshot of this information and use it to enroll for the program. By Tuesday, it's going to move. It's already 8,000 naira. Funny enough, I still have an old, this thing here, 7.5. So you are in luck. You can go ahead and pay the 7.5. But after today, tomorrow, by Tuesday, it becomes 10,000 naira. And you will still pay 10,000 naira and still have an amazing time and still get value for more than what you paid. Okay, but hey, why don't you rather save some money and pay? I mean, why don't you rather save 2,500 naira and still get in to get the same amount of value from this course? So if you'd like to be a part of it, you check in the comment section, okay, on Facebook. In this video, you can check on the description also on YouTube, or just simply take a screenshot of the screen and use that to make payments. Dear parents, your child needs to play. Play is often talked about as if it were a relief. Oh no. Okay, it's often talked about as if it is a relief from what your child is doing, but that is not the case. Play is really what children should do. Play is the work. I don't understand, why is my screen going all black? All right, play is actually the job that your child has to do. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the session. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. I can't see my screen. Everything is dark for whatever reason. All right. All right. So play is the work that your child has got to do. So let's get our children playing. Let's get our children learning. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye. I think